That and oh,
Hats up, everyone. We're breaking down the Thursday night football showdown, Eagles versus Giants, and we're building around Jalen Hurts at captain. We're going Hurts because he carries a dash rank of 100. He's projected for 22 points. He averages 21 per game. And he gets the Giants, who have one of the worst defenses overall with an opponent rank of 26. Ownership around 51% is high, but not prohibitive for Showdown, and his recent form at 20, 19, and 30 fantasy points shows both floor and ceiling. An article this week reminded us this is the NFC East Spotlight game on Thursday night, and another piece highlighted the Eagles' offense stirring chatter with Hurts, AJ Brown, and Saquon Barkley. That offensive momentum is exactly the kind of slate environment we want to captain. We're pairing Hurts with Devonta Smith for leverage. Smith carries a strong dash rank of 88 with a projection of 13, ownership around 25%, and he also benefits from the Giants having one of the worst defenses overall. The why is simple. His recent 22 and 20-point games show spike week upside at modest ownership, and news chatter about the Smith and A.J. Brown tandem being elite but underappreciated helps us lean into a leverage angle when the field concentrates on Hurts and Barkley. We'll add Dallas Goedert as our second Eagles pass catcher. Goedert's dash rank is 76. He's projected for 10, with about 21% ownership, and the matchup is the same favorable overall opponent. The reason we like him is role stability, with double-digit fantasy outputs in 2 of his last 3, and correlation to Hurts in the red zone. One article noted PFF ranking Philly's pass-catching group #1 heading into camp, and on a showdown slate that concentrated target tree is exactly what we want to stack. Saquon Barkley is our premium bring-it-back within the same stack, or our second pay-up from Philly. Dash rank 94, projection 19, ownership around 54%, and he also benefits from the Giants having one of the worst defenses overall. The why? He's the focal point alongside Hurts, with 18 and 17 points the last 2 games and usage that plays in all scripts. The article spotlighting Hurts, A.J. Brown, and Barkley as the engine of Philly's offense supports our stance that 2 of the 3 belong in most builds. If you need savings while keeping Philly exposure, Jake Elliott is in play. Projection 9 with about 31% ownership, and steady recent outputs of 5, 7, and 3. We like Elliott because in games where the Eagles move the ball but stall in the red zone, elite kickers can outscore thin ancillary pieces. There's a piece noting Elliott as one of the best in the league. That floor matters on a low salary slot. On the Giants side, we'll be selective. Jackson Dart projects for 15 at about 50% ownership against the Eagles, who have a middle-of-the-pack defense overall with an opponent rank of 19. We'll play some Dart in lineups that fade an Eagles onslaught, but we're mindful that QB projections are less reliable when a player hasn't started at least 3 games. The news mix tells the real story. A roughing the passer controversy, a dropped ball miscue, and also notes that he's growing in confidence since taking the job. That volatility is why we'll be near or slightly underfield and tie him to his best stacking partner. That partner is Theo Johnson, projection 8 with about 22% ownership, and a last 3 line of 21, 11, and 2 points shows how he spikes when featured. We like him as Dart's safety valve in a tougher spot, and multiple articles out of New York back the team's belief in him and explain why the Giants drafted him. If you're playing Dart, correlate with Theo. Eagles D is firmly in the pool as a leverage piece against a mistake-prone rookie. Recent outputs of 2, 14, and 13 show tournament-winning upside. The why is the news on Dart's ball security hiccup and typical rookie variance. If Hurts builds a lead, pass volume plus pressure can generate sacks and turnovers. For punt values, Tank Bigsby is our pure dart throw. He's min-price tier and projected for 1, but an article confirmed the Eagles traded picks to acquire him, signaling they want depth behind Barkley. On a one-game slate, we're talking touchdown or bust in a handful of builds in case Philly rolls and rotates late. If you absolutely need another deep punt, Will Shipley is in that same bucket as a rotational back. We'd only consider him in Hurts onslaught constructions, where you need salary relief and hope for a gadget touch near the goal line. We're mostly fading the Giants' defense unless you're telling a very specific story where you fade Hurts entirely. Their opponent rank is 11, which is a middle-of-the-pack defense overall, but they face one of the most efficient offenses in football per this week's coverage. That's a large field contrarian only. Our favorite constructions tonight start with Hurts captain, paired with one or two of Smith and Goddard. Bring it back with Theo Johnson if you want to save, or Saquon Barkley if you want raw ceiling. We're using Elliott and Eagles D as salary balancers that still correlate with an Eagles-led script, and we're keeping Jackson Dart in the player pool but mindful of his volatile floor, using the news context and limited starts note to manage exposure. One more reminder from the week's headlines. Multiple outlets framed this as the NFC East rivalry on Thursday Night Football, and other pieces highlighted the Eagles' offensive core, driving the narrative. That's exactly why we're building through Hurts, adding premium Philly skill pieces, and using selective Giants runbacks for correlation. Good luck tonight.